A cold air intake is a great mod for some better performance, especially the 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Sierra 1500s. And this S&B cold air intake with the oiled cleanable cotton filter is a premium choice to do it with. Now there are a couple of things to look at when choosing the right cold air intake for you, including the housing as well as the filter. And this option by S&B offers a closed air box choice and an oiled filter design, making it great if you want the extra filter protection compared to a heat shield, as well as a high flow filter design that you can maintenance over time for your particular environment, driving style, or lifestyle. Now it's also a very easily maintenance option thanks to the housing and the filter being very simple to pop out and clean if you want a reusable choice so you don't have to keep swapping filters or have to worry about poor performance thanks to a gunked up filter. Now right out of the gate, S&B states that this flows roughly 52% better than the OEM system, which is a significant increase for less air restriction and less turbulence, directing more air into the manifold and pulling air from 3 different locations on this housing, the fender, behind the headlight, as well as the stock location. Now the design of the airbox also allows the flow in while keeping the hot engine bay air out, and it also helps shield the filter from any larger contaminants like debris or water that could sneak up under the hood, depending on how tough you are on your truck. Now the filter is pretty good at catching all that smaller debris thanks to the sticky oil that it has on top, while maintaining a more open or porous design for a higher flow to it. And again, it is cleanable compared to a dry filter, so you can literally have this for the lifetime of your truck with the correct maintenance. Now you can also periodically check on it with the snap-in sight window up at the top, making it very easy to keep an eye on, and also have easy access to it whenever it need be. And it even comes with a silicone edge trim for that, as well as the rest of the housing here, to make sure that there is no unwanted heat getting into that airbox. Now breaking the system down, the housing and the intake tube are made of a heat-resistant cross-linked plastic construction. They're very durable and able to stand up to the tough engine bay and also resist the heat to keep an efficient operation going on here. Now the intake tube is also a straight through design for direct flow into the manifold compared to other options that may have some resonators, especially the factory one, which can cause some restriction. Now the housing and the intake tube are connected together and connected to the truck with silicone couplers and fittings. And while they are much more malleable and just more flexible inside of the engine bay, they have a 400-degree Fahrenheit resistance, so you can trust that they are going to hold up. Now the snap-in lid here, as well as other portions of the housing, are also made of heat-resistant materials, and underneath this clear polycarbonate sight window is the massive 8-layer cotton cleanable filter. This also comes with all the odds and ends like the fittings, factory-style fittings to be specific, so they can just pop into place, which is a key element of this system. You have a mass airflow sensor extension harness here to accommodate for that change in design, and it doesn't require a tune to install all of this, making it a very easy upgrade. Now this is about $400, being one of the more pricey systems, but it's also one of the intakes that comes with those additional bells and whistles that you would want out of a premium option. Now a few of those fancy features being the clear pop-in sight window that doesn't have any hardware to it, so you don't have to remove any bolts in order to access the huge cleanable high flow filter here. This also comes with those smaller things that really make a difference when it comes to installation and overall quality, like the factory style fittings here for a direct fit, as well as a MAF extension harness, which is going to accommodate for the change in the construction, which makes this a very well-rounded system. So if you are looking to invest in a cold air intake that's going to perform much better than the factory one, but fit just like it, this is a great one to count on. install is a light 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and I would say to get all of this bolted up and into your truck, it's probably going to take about an hour or so. However, at this point, I'm going to pass it over to one of our installers. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how to put all these pieces on the table together and get it into your Sierra at home. So that's going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get to the install.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, a 10, 8, and T15 socket, 19 and 10 millimeter wrench, 4 millimeter Allen wrench, a clip removal tool, a Phillips and flathead screwdriver, diagonal cutters, and the supplied zip ties. All right, today we're gonna be installing an intake on our Silverado. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock one, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
Getting started, we need to obviously pop our hood here on our Silverado. And then first step is to unplug your mass airflow sensor. You're gonna wanna pull back on this red clip and then release the plug. So again, slide the red portion back. At that point, you can release the clip. Next up, we're gonna work on removing the intake tube portion of the factory intake. Getting started, we can loosen up our clamp here at the airbox connection. Either use a flathead screwdriver for this or an 8 millimeter socket. Next up, we're gonna loosen up the clamp here at the throttle body connection, again using a flathead screwdriver or an 8 millimeter socket. With our two clamps loosened up, we're about ready to pull out the intake tube portion, but before we do, we have to go ahead and remove our PCV hose on the back here, push in on the gray clip, and pull back. At this point now, we can go ahead and remove our intake tube from the engine bay, releasing it from the throttle body, and then from the airbox. Next up, we need to remove the upper radiator valance here. There are 10 plastic clips holding this in place, so grab a trim removal tool, flathead screwdriver, whatever you have laying around. You're gonna wanna pop the top off this clip and then remove the clip itself. Now before we go ahead and remove our upper radiator valance, we do need to remove the hood latch release. To do so, you need a T15 Torx tool. With that removed, you can slide it off. With the latch out of the way, now you can remove your valance. The reason you removed your upper radiator valance is to gain access to this clip right here. Basically, you need to pop this guy out. With that clip removed, that'll allow you to pull back the snorkel just enough to get out of that stock airbox. Now we can go ahead and remove this 10 millimeter nut down here, and that will be our first step in removing our stock airbox. Next up, we need to remove this wiring harness and clip from the airbox itself. It's actually attached to a bracket there. To do so, you can either use a small pick tool, flathead screwdriver to release the clip back here and then pull up. At this point, our stock airbox is ready to come out. Couple little tips here. You're gonna wanna push this out of the way, just to kind of secure it underneath one of your hoses. And then also, there are 2 rubber grommets on the back side of the airbox. You don't wanna lose those.
All right, now before we get to our new intake, we just need to remove one more thing, and that's our mass airflow sensor. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and T15 socket and take these 2 screws out. Slide our mass airflow sensor out, and now we can start assembling our new airbox. All right, so we need to do a little bit of assembly first. We're gonna start with our intake tube. We need to install our mass airflow sensor, our fitting, and then we're gonna assemble our hose here. We're gonna start with our mass airflow sensor. We're gonna have our gasket first, our adapter plate, which is gonna rest over top, and then we're gonna slide our mass airflow sensor in like so. We have 2 supplied Phillips head screws. Get those started, and we'll grab our Phillips head screwdriver and tighten that down. Next, we're gonna grab our tube that goes on the end here. That simply just threads in. You can thread it in by hand. If you need a little bit of help, you can grab a 19mm wrench and just go ahead and tighten that down. Now we can set this aside for now. We have our tube that's actually gonna connect to this one over here. We have 2 fittings. We're gonna slide our 2 clamps over first, and then our fittings simply just twist in. And then you can go ahead, slide your clamps down and snug them up. You can leave them loose just in case you need to spin this one. This one's just straight, so you can tighten that one down. I'm just gonna tighten this down for now. If you do need to adjust it, just loosen up and then make sure you tighten it back down. Go ahead and set this aside. Now we need to do some assembly on our airbox itself. All right, so we have our airbox here. We just need to assemble a few things. We have our optional plug if you do want to put this in. We're going to. If you take this out, you just get a little bit more airflow, but you definitely do suck in a little bit more hot air. Then we have our adapter for our ram air, and that is in the grill. We're gonna put that in. So we'll do those 2 now. You simply just snap into place. Just work that rubber seal in there. And we have this one. Same thing, just run that around the edge and work it in. You'll see your grommet here with a plastic sleeve. That's actually where our mounting point is, so that's in the bottom here. We're actually gonna have to go through and tighten our bolt like so. But we're gonna put our grommet in the bottom right here. If you need to, just reach to the other side, pull that all the way through. And then our sleeve is gonna go on the inside, facing down like so. In there. Now for our mounting point here, that's where our big connector that we took off of our factory airbox will go. So we have a supplied Allen bolt. It's gonna fit in like there and then thread in here. We're gonna grab a 4mm Allen wrench and go ahead and tighten that down. Lastly, we just have our 2 grommets that will go into the back of the engine bay. To secure our airbox down, we have our 2 rubber grommets. And then we're gonna have 2 Phillips head screws that actually gonna screw in through them to hold them in place. So we're gonna grab a Phillips head screwdriver and tighten them down. Now you do have to get this started into the plastic, so you're gonna have to push kind of hard. Once you get that started, it'll be nice and easy. And you don't need to tighten it down too much. You just want to make sure it's a little recessed and holding that on. All right, around the side, I just want to point this out. You will see a couple holes here. Now that's going to be for our supplied zip ties. We're just going to push in there to secure our wiring. But we'll do that when we get into the truck. So let's get this installed in the truck now. All right, now we just need to get our air box into place. Now this is a tight fit, so just take your time and get everything in place. Make sure that gets over the stud. Just like so. So now we're gonna grab our 10mm nut. We're gonna reach inside our air box. I know you're not gonna be able to see anything because it is pretty recessed in there. We're gonna thread that on and then grab our 10mm ratcheting wrench and tighten that down. All right, while we're here, we can also secure our wiring harness onto our clip we installed. And then next we're gonna get our intake tube sat into the bottom of our air box and re-secured in our grill. So now we have our intake tube here. We just need to re-secure that into our new box. So it's easiest just to kind of stick your hands in there and get it through that bottom grommet. And once that's seated in place, we're gonna get our push clip and re-secure it in our hole right here. Now we have that re-secured, we can grab our rag cover, slide that in place, and re-secure all of our push clips going across. All right, so we're gonna reinstall all of our push clips. You see we have a broken one there. We're just gonna skip over that for now. Keep moving on. Then we just need to put our hood release latch back on. All right, so we'll put our handle back over and reinstall our two T15 screws. Grab a ratchet and socket and tighten them down. Now we can put our cover in. Now it's definitely easier to do that without your filter in because you can actually reach in and pull the seal out from the bottom. Just gonna get this kind of in place. With it being a little bit of an awkward shape, it's a little bit of a pain to get it in. So you reach under and just pull the seal out so you can snap it in place. Now we have our filter, so we're just gonna slide that in place and push that down. And it'll seal on a ring going around the air box. Just like that. Now before we get our tube in, I just want to secure our wiring. So we have our two holes, one here, one here. You have our factory plug that will go in the bottom one. Then we're gonna grab one of our supplied zip ties, slide that in, and that's gonna help secure our mass airflow harness right here. Just pull that out of the way. We actually do have our extension harness, which we're gonna plug in. Plug it in like so, secure the red locking tab, and we just let that rest across here for right now. Lastly, we have our coupler to assemble, so we're just gonna slide that over. We have our larger clamp in the back, smaller in the front to go over our throttle body. We're gonna slide that into our air box and over our throttle body at the same time. We're gonna go ahead and adjust our clamps, and we can go ahead and tighten them down. Now we'll grab our ratchet 8mm socket, tighten them down. Make sure that's pushed on all the way. It's nice and secure. Then we can do our air filter clamp. Our last clamp is for our air filter, same thing, ratchet and 8mm socket. We're gonna grab another one of our zip ties here. It's actually gonna go in this plug on the back. We're gonna bring our wiring up. We're just gonna loosely put that on for now. We're gonna plug in our wiring. It's just a simple push and connector. Just secure that wire however you want. We're just gonna pull it tight like so. And if you want, you can go ahead and grab a pair of diagonal cutters. Just cut off the extra on these zip ties. And then lastly, we just have our vent tube to put on. So we have our vent tube. We're gonna put our angled piece on our intake side. And then on our valve cover, the straight end, just bend that around and push that on. And that wraps up our install of our S&B cold air intake with oiled cleanable cotton filter.
For your 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Sierra 1500. And remember, for all things Sierra, keep right here at AmericanTrucks.com.